Hi folks, Glenn Danford. I am the president and founder of PRC Services. We're a nonprofit corporation providing help for those who are struggling financially. We provide free bankruptcy, free note modification, and free debt settlement help. This video is going to cover note modification. Note modification is a process where you contact your lender. Let's say you're behind in payments, or possibly you're facing a rate adjustment that you can't afford, or you've had one very recently that you can't afford. It's the process where you go back to the bank and say, I can't afford this payment. If you don't help me, my house is going to go into foreclosure. The real estate market is so slow and the prices are so low here in California, where the company is originated from, and in the county of southwestern Riverside County, prices are down 50%. So unless you put 50% down in the last 5 years buying your home, chances are you're going to be what's called upside down. So what do you do when you're upside down, or credit criteria with our real estate credit crisis hitting the nation? Actually, we're being hit by a real estate bubble that has popped, and then a credit crisis on top of it, where mortgages that used to have a value of, we'll say you loan $100,000, you resell the loan and it's worth $100,000. That same loan today is worth $80,000. So banks can't originate loans. Only the very best credit individual is getting a loan, and that is based upon today's real estate prices. So that disqualifies, we'll say, a lot of folks from getting a refinance, and that's been the mentality in the last 7 to 8 years. I'll get one of these loans that I need to refinance. I'll take a low interest rate in the beginning, and then when I need to refinance, I'll refinance. Well, those times are over. You can't get out. Very few folks now can get out and refinance, and if they can, the value's too low. So what do? Well, you've got President Bush, Secretary Treasurer Henry Paulson, and Ben Bernanke, head of the Fed. All these guys are, and every branch of government is out trying to come up with a mortgage bailout plan. You've got headlines today that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac can't cover, they're insolvent. There was a new accounting rule that was passed this year in 2008 that has basically made the largest mortgage entity in the world insolvent. And what you've got is just a complete crisis. So what do you do when you need to refinance or you're facing losing your home? That's a note modification. Now, if you were to go out today, about 1 out of 10 note modifications go through. And the reason is a lot of people bought homes, they weren't living in them, they were looking to speculate on the real estate values going up, and unless it's a home that you live in and that you can document your income, you're probably going to have trouble. Now, I don't discourage anybody from attempting a note modification. You've got, like I said, every branch of the government is in a position to put pressure on the servicers and the banks to help people. In fact, in California, a rule just passed that Governor Schwarzenegger, Arnold, we call him, and he came out with a law that you cannot foreclose on somebody in California until the bank proves that they attempted to do a note modification. Now, what's going on with the banks? Well, if you can prove that you have, and they'll be asking for your previous year income along with your bank statements, the last 3 to possibly, if you're self-employed, your bank statements for the entire year. What the bank wants to see is that you have, after they lower your payment, they want to lower it only down to the point where they know you've got net income to pay all your bills. Because it doesn't make any sense for somebody to amend your note only to have you go back and end up in the same problem. They are reducing amounts that people owe. They're reducing interest rates. I would encourage everybody who's in an adjustable to go for a 30-year fixed, but the key point here is you've got to be able to prove that you can make the payment, and number two, that you have a hardship. For example, if you got a stated loan, you're making all your payments, and you go to your bank because you know your home's worth $200,000 less than what's selling on your street, chances are they're not going to help you. They're currently helping people who are in foreclosure, who are behind in payments, or who can prove that they've got a note adjustment or a payment adjustment coming up. So if you were to go out, you were going to request a note modification, you're going to put up front $2,000 to possibly, I've heard as much as $15,000, that either brokers and these companies that do note modification are requesting. And then they're going to have a fee that's non-refundable if they're unsuccessful. Well, unless they are qualifying you before they take your money, more than likely you're going to lose between $300 and $1,200. And so what have I done? I've been in the mortgage business and the credit and collection, debt settlement, and note modification since 1975. What I decided that I would do is come back to the community and offer what I know for free. Taken a lot of time, laid out the note modification process step by step. It's not something that you can sit down and do in 5 minutes. It will take a little time, but I've given you the step-by-step, easy-to-follow instructions along with the forms and exactly what the bank needs to do your own note modification. I encourage you, my website is www.prcservices.org, and I encourage you to log on, read for yourself. I've got some other information regarding bankruptcy, the lending industry, the collection industry. I would encourage you to please log on to my site before you go with anybody else and just learn for yourself. But for now, I'm signing out. Hope to help you, and please log on to the site www.prcservices.org. Thank you.